gets in trouble, that's where you step in too. Because you have to be able to advise them, so you have to have some sort of wisdom, you have to have some discernment, because you have to be able to advise them and anticipate what the outcome may be. There are publicists that only do damage control. And now that we're in an era where the internet is like crazy. As soon as you do something wrong, it's on the internet real fast. And it's hard to combat those things because you can't just call somebody and say, take that down. But you have to know how to do that. Like if someone says something negative or my client happens to say something crazy on Twitter and all of a sudden it's in the press in 2 seconds, I have to know how to come back at that. And we do that by saturating the press with positive things immediately. I'm talking about we're on there and we're talking about all the great things they did because we have to move all that negative stuff down. So when their page comes up, when you put their name in, you start saying, oh, it was at City Refuge, oh, they volunteered, oh, they fed the homeless. You got to start doing so. You have to know quick. You have to be able to think quick. How can I do this? Sometimes you have to advise your client not to respond to something and let it die. But then you'll find the client will go behind you and they'll do it anyway because they have their own minds. A lot of times people will say, they got a bad publicist. No, they didn't listen to their publicist. They don't have a bad publicist. They got their own mind. So it's like, if you're going to pay me for my expertise, then take my advice. So yeah, so there's a lot of damage control. You gotta know what to do. You can't have an attitude. Because if you have an attitude, you want to fight. Right. They say something about my client. What? Oh, you can't do that. You gotta think smart. You gotta calm it, bring it down, breathe, and figure out what's the right thing to do.
Amen. Now, not to stay on you too much, but what I'm hearing is that the publicist is technically like a parent, right?
We the parent, we the wife, we everything. The husband, that's why I say, know that when you're going into this, if you got a husband, wife, and kids, and all that stuff, you may not want to do personal PR for celebrities. I've had celebrities call me at 2 o'clock in the morning and tell me, I was just thinking. Oh really? I was just sleeping. But they feel because they're on a retainer and they can just call you any time of the night and day. So you have to know that, your husband, I don't like that. I know mine did.
Right. So here's the challenge then. And I brought up the whole parenting thing because we have young people who have parents, right? And if you don't have a parent, then you have someone who's serving as a guardian who serves as a parent. And our parents are challenged to train us up in the way we should go so that when we're older, we won't have to do a lot of damage control, right? So then, with social media as accessible as it is, how can we maintain a true sense of who we are without getting caught up into what the world says we should look like and get caught up in Twitter wars and Facebook beefs and foolishness that won't get us to our place of destiny? Anybody want to jump on that?
The first place is it starts in the home.
Okay.
Whether it be your mom, your dad, or grandma, or grandpa, or auntie. I'm from Mississippi. So anybody is your auntie, your uncle, anybody in a free range to cut your behind. Whether it's black, white, Asian, Hispanic. I have many aunties and uncles and many cultures who will lay a switch in my behind any given time if I were to act out of line. And so that allowed me to act right. And in time when I got older and I had kids, one thing I said my kids were smart. They go to Mississippi with their parents and they have those same aunties and uncles. If you don't establish a foundation with them very early on, then I see them as a criminologist. My specialty is juvenile. I don't want to be talking about your child in court because they cut it. And the judge is asking me, should they go to juvenile hall or should they be tried as an adult for their crime? Parents, you have the choice. My children are not allowed on social media. You will wait till you're 16, period.
Wow. I think some Facebook pages will be shut down.
Yeah, they don't have any of that stuff. It's called parental block. Use it. If they need to be online for school, you need to watch watch it. I'm not saying my kids haven't done it. Not one in particular. At 2 o'clock in the morning, snuck in a room and she's on YouTube. Listening to Katy Perry. Well, you know, I had to deal with that in a proper manner. We'll just say that. Well, not yet. But at the end of the day, she didn't try it again because I handled it the first time. If you don't handle it the first time, don't be crying later on when your 16, 17, 18-year-old is behind bars and they're being tried for murder or assault from another person. We as the parents are responsible for this generation. We must train our kids properly now so that they will go out and represent their generation well and generations to come. It falls off of us.
Very good, very good. I definitely agree and I appreciate you for that, sis. We also got to be real though. We also got to talk in the homes to our kids, you know, about the reality of stuff that a lot of times as parents we want to hide. And I come to tell all the parents tonight and this evening that if you don't be real with your child, the streets will. But they're going to teach them something else. Social media will, you know, and so if we get there and tell them the truth about these things though, at least we can say we are educating them for if they fall into these brackets, because regardless to what, we can't hold their hands, you know, and when they go other places, they may not have a Facebook at the physical home, but they may have a Facebook at the friend house. So we have to be real, you know. I speak to my kids concerning sex and everything. Why? Because it's out there. Daddy gonna tell you what's happening. You ain't got to, they not gonna teach you. So I just want to say that when you establish a real relationship with your children, you know, you want to tell them the truth about everything. The alcohol, the drugs, the crime. What happens if you do this, okay? No, I can't stop you from doing it, but I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen if you do it.
So in essence, you're reiterating the point that life is choice-driven, and whatever you choose, you're gonna have a consequence, whether it's positive or negative. And, say what now? And it hurts in the negative end, right? So here's another point. When you're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all these other things, I want y'all to know, this is my 2 seconds of tidbits. I want y'all to know there's some people looking on your page and snooping. They won't hit the like button, they won't make a comment, and they won't even call you on the phone, won't send you an instant message, won't send you an inbox message. But they're looking to see what you're up to, and they'll take what you say and turn it into something negative. And that's what we call slander, right? In a sense, right? So be very mindful of what you put on your social media network. And as teenagers, those of you who are looking for summer, summer's over, those of you who will be looking for work in the fall and the summer, please know that if you don't have a creative way of having your name on social media, that your employers and teachers and other people are looking you up on the internet, whether it's on Google or on the social media site. Somebody said, well, why? Well, they want to make sure that you're the same person that you present yourself to be in their face, right? Now, if you have on booty shorts on your Instagram and you calling yourself twerking, that's really not a good look. When you want your mama and your grandmama to know that that's what you're doing. Well, some people may say, well, this generation, grandmama's what? Oh, about the same age as mama, right? And grandmama probably helped them twerk. But let me let you know, that's not a good look, young people. Young men, it's not a good look for your sister to be looking that way, for the world to see. So we have to be very mindful, not to say that you cannot live your life and have a voice and have choice and all that good stuff. But we are to be held accountable to a higher standard if we're planning on calling ourselves Christians, believers in Christ, followers of Christ, believers in God. So I'm off my little soapbox. But there are some persons in the audience who have questions, and I want to invite you to come up right now. Run on up here and ask your question. Run on up here and ask answer your question. Amen. Yes, ma'am. Speak into the microphone. Get closer to it.
Now,
There you go.
if we're interested in writing or publishing or having desires to be an author, what would be the best way for us to get our stuff out?
If they're interested in writing, publishing, that sort of thing, how would they get their stuff out? How would it be released?
That'd be a great team.
Because we are in a very Facebook entrepreneurial environment, as you know on Facebook, there's 1 billion people on Facebook. 1 billion. I would say that people will steal. Christians will steal too. Should they get quiet in here now? So there is a poor, I'll say this, I got 1,000 things going in my head. The first thing you should do is when you write something is to have it copywritten. And you can find copyright information on, you can Google that, and they have a poor man's way. The poor man's publishing is you put something in an envelope and mail it to yourself and don't open it. But I would say to you, if nothing else, I learned this the hard way, and I'm sure that Sister Reed could tell you, every idea you have, an idea is worth publishing. So keep your ideas to yourself. I would say the first thing to do is to copyright anything you have. Second, copyright your title that you have, and just keep writing. Most of the time, most big publishers are not interested in you unless you got some scandal out, you're some famous person. They're really not really interested in you, but the world is interested in your story. And so the best way is to go self-publishing. And then self-publishing, you can keep controlling your own money.
What exactly is self-publishing?
It means that you have copywritten your book or whatever you're writing. You've got what's called, and you should write this down by the way, parents or anybody, an ISBN number. You can order an ISBN number or a barcode. So I'm gonna give you 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, copyrighted. You can find it on Facebook or, internet. Second, get an ISBN number. You usually buy about 9 of those. You can find all this on the internet. Third, get a barcode. And fourth, whatever it is that you're trying to execute, just start writing. Just start doing it. I would do those first 4 or 5 things first. And self-publishing, at the end of the day, you just find someone who will just simply print your book, your ideas, and that's self-publishing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Anybody else? I just gotta piggyback.
What made you come from Louisiana all the way to here?
This is actually my 3rd time at this event, and what made me come from Louisiana is the fact that I love you guys enough, not only to come from Louisiana, but to come from wherever I was to share my story and to uplift, encourage, and motivate somebody else to just continue on with their dreams and do what they, have been called to do. I love people, and the youth, you guys, y'all the next generation of doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, who knows the next president. So we got to keep that fire burning, because as somebody have a dream when they're 8, today what we see in society, somebody will have a dream when they're 6, 7, and 8. That dream get diminished by the age of 12, and they start having other desires and ambitions. So we're here to keep that positive fire lit for you guys. And my travel from Louisiana, baby, was nothing in comparison to what God has blessed me to come give you guys. I'll do it all over again.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Ashley. Hi. I have a question for Elijah. How old are you and how did you get started in the tire entertainment business?
I'm 13 years old. I started in the entertainment business. I first started modeling at the age of 2, mainly because I like being in front of a camera. But when I was 6 years old, I saw all these really cool movies, and at the time, I thought they were all real. And I saw all these old actors Well, not old, but you know what I mean. And so I thought, if they could do it, how come I couldn't? So here I am. After a lot of begging, I managed to drag my mom from Smyrna, Georgia, all the way to LA.
That's dope. That's dope. We have a few more minutes left. Are there any persons who want to ask questions? We're going to run up here quick.